So we were going to cover the topic imposter syndrome.
I always have it, but I always think that if you do have imposter syndrome, it means you're growing and it means you're moving forward and it means that you're pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. We're all seeking validation. You have to become an imposter to get it. Hi, and welcome back to the Mindset and Marketing Podcast. My name is Matthew Toman, and I am your co-host for today. I'm also joined with
Sharon Kirkpatrick.
Here on the Mindset and Marketing Podcast. Our aim is to give you jargon-free information around everything mindset and everything marketing, while keeping you up to date with things that are going on within our agency, our online digital academy, and just a bit on life as well. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching as always. And let's get started. How's things, Sharon? How are you doing?
Good. It's Monday, so we've kind of changed up our days a bit, and we record on a Monday now. And at the start, I was kind of like, I don't know if that's the best day to record, because you're trying to get into things. But I think it's a nice way to kind of end the day. Well, you're just starting yours.
I'm starting my whole week by doing it. I actually really love it because, do you want to know what? The podcast goes out every Friday, as you know, and see unless we block them, whenever it comes to like Tuesday, Wednesday, or there's times we've shot on Thursday, and had to get it like edited and then up the next day because we really don't want to miss any, just to stay consistent, But I'm so glad it's on a Monday because it takes so much pressure off. Monday morning, that's it done. By Tuesday afternoon, the videos edited and the reels are all done, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a good move. So obviously, because it's Monday, we just got over the weekend there. So I didn't get up to too much because I had my wee nephew. So
Edison, how was he?
6 years old, had him from Friday right through to Sunday. Go me, I know.
Very good, well done.
So we did fun things like bowling, crazy golf, made a dinner on the Sunday for his mom and stuff. And so, mine was very chilled. Like, I feel really refreshed coming into Monday because normally I'm out eating food, drinking wine. Wasn't doing that this weekend,
Yeah. Oh my God, I had the best, really good weekend. Actually, I had the best foods. What did I do? So last week I've been back. I've been in the gym every day, and I've started like training my legs with like the barbell and doing things, the way you're meant to do them, and not just like avoiding leg day essentially. And I've been really loading the weights on, but I swear, I don't know. I went for sushi with my friend Art the other day, and I had a load of edamame beans. And I forgot that they're not good for my stomach because whenever I stopped drinking alcohol, I unfortunately acquired a hiatus hernia, diverticulitis. My liver was all over the place. A series of health conditions that, once I changed my lifestyle, stopped drinking, stopped eating meat, I changed so many things, and it actually solved it. Oh my God, whatever I've had over the weekend, accompanied with like the heavy weights, I have been in actual bits. My stomach, just down at the left hand side of my stomach, it's been so sore.
No.
But I've still went out and done all that. Had a great weekend.
What to do? Just do like a veggie like a plant-based diet for like a few days, and then that'll be you sorted. I was watching this show at the weekend. I can't remember what it was called. It's on Netflix, and basically they're doing that whole plant versus a healthy meat based diet, and they basically said that the difference was this time they were doing it on identical twins.
Okay.
So the way it's like everyone's genes different, whatever. Well, that's the closest match you can get,
Yeah.
And then they obviously done the tests, and they tested everything. They tested their microbiomes, they tested their health, they tested their fitness, they tested their biological clock age, which apparently is a thing. And then at the end of it, obviously, they compare and see who's improved the best. And as we all know, well, maybe we don't all know, but any of those documentaries I've watched, like literally the way in which you can improve and reverse things on a plant-based diet, not everything, but a lot of things in a matter of weeks. It's not even like, you don't have to be doing it for months and years, like weeks.
Yeah. I ended
And
up
I was like,
yeah.
well, I was kind of like, because for anyone who knows me knows I am not a vegan, and I don't think I ever could be vegan. But I'm telling you now, see if I get sick or something happens, that's my first protocol. That's what I'm doing.
I know the thing about it is with a hiatus hernia, they actually said to avoid eating salads because loose leaves can actually like trigger it or something. But it's not the hernia at the minute anyway. It's definitely the diverticulitis. The doctor said to me at the time, look, it's actually totally normal to get diverticulitis. A lot of people have it when you're like 55 or 60, not when you're 33. So I was 33 at the time, so I was like, okay, shit. So I had a flare up, but I have not had a flare up in years. And it's like debilitating, so I don't know. But I put it down to like the edamame beans, the broccoli and the flipping asparagus, because I ended up eating loads of asparagus over the weekend. It was gorgeous as well. I had so much food over the weekend, which probably didn't help it.
That's what I do.
But
whatever was really healthy just before my whatever pain I'm feeling, I blame it on that.
Oh, same, yeah. Same. It had nothing to do with the prime. No. But I am avoiding the prime at the minute. So and do you want to know what? I really want to go to the gym today, but I don't know what to do. I might just leave it. I'll see.
See how you feeling. You're only up really, so see how you feel in the next few hours.
Yeah, I'm going to do like a 24-hour fast and just give my stomach like a bit of a break,
Yeah, that's intense. I couldn't do that.
Well, I only have to go till like 8 o'clock tonight.
Rachel was out with friends.
And it's already 9, so it's like 11 hours just drinking water, and that's 24 hours.
And
then if I went to bed, no, it's not. It's 24. So I stopped eating yesterday at 8.
Oh, so what time would you have to wait till
7:30. 7:30
tonight.
That's a 24-hour. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you can have something tonight. Okay, that's different. Yeah. Well,
or if Rachel, I just went like another to the morning, I could do like 36 or so, But anyway.
You'd not sleep because you'd be going, oh gosh, I'm so hungry.
Nah, I would. I'd sleep. I'm sleeping so well at the minute.
Well, Rachel went out to meet her friend today, and they went to Pizza Express, which I am obsessed with. And I was like, Rachel, you're going to have to bring me back a pizza. So after this,
oh, nice.
I'm being unhealthy, and I'm having a pizza for my dinner. It's gorgeous. I can't wait.
It's not really unhealthy, but I had like unreal food the weekend. I had a good weekend. I had a good week. Just met up with friends, had 2 amazing meetings, 2 absolutely like life changers. Well, one has been on the cards for a while, so it's about something that I'm going to talk to everybody about very soon. They're going to know about it. I have to do contracts first, that's the only thing, but it's definitely happening moving forward, and I'm really excited. It's our next documentary. Very excited about that. Nice. And then I onboarded a new client onto Life's a Beach, working with him one-on-one, contacted me, has an amazing business, world champion jiu-jitsu, and he is now bringing his teachings to online. 2 world championships he's won. Wow. So really, really good, like inspiration. Like he's got such a good business, and what he's planning on doing with that is going to totally change his whole life, because he already goes to different gyms and trains with other people and teaches them classes. Whereas he'll just be able to travel full time now and that's all he wants to do. So he's taken his academy like onto the road. So yeah, had a great day on Saturday, a few hours with him, and then I'm excited to see where his business goes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So productive and lots of good food. I like it.
Loads of food, loads of good food.
I like it. Well, should we jump in?
Yep, so what is today's topic?
Are you just missing Belfast? Here, mate.
I don't know how that happened.
Topic?
I don't actually say that.
That's actually I
was probably thinking about Edison.
That's actually how
anybody
Matthew
from Belfast
really speaks.
Yeah, my real accent came out there. Do you want to know what? I could not check my accent. Oh, do you want to know what else I'm doing? I'll keep you updated on. I'm joined in an acting class in LA. I used to go to acting classes whenever I was younger, and I absolutely loved it. And at the weekend, I was talking to I was out for dinner with a few of my friends, and there's this one acting class, and it gave me so much entertainment, so many stories that I have literally told for like over 10 years. It was the funniest 7 weeks or 8 weeks of my life. So I'm going back to that acting class, the same one.
Gag.
Not because I want to be an actor,
Aw.
but because I just want to have the crack. Do you
For
know?
the crack.
I just thought, you want to know what? I actually think I think everybody should do acting classes.
Yeah,
Especially
well,
if you're working in film, even as a producer or the project that I'm working on, it's going to be good for me just to get back into the swing of things.
sure. Do you remember one of the clients' websites that we built? They do like acting classes and all of that for the corporate sector to improve your
Yeah.
communication skills and your
Oh, yeah.
presentation skills and all of that. So it's not just about acting and the crack. I'm sure you get
Yeah.
really valuable transferable skills from doing something, from doing anything new. Put
Yeah, yeah,
yourself
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, keep us
You
posted on that
definitely
one.
do. I will, yeah. It'd be funny now. Be great.
So today, well, actually, do you know what? This is kind of relevant, and that wasn't even on purpose. So we were going to cover the topic imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
Okay,
how am
yeah.
I relating that? I'm relating that in terms of an actor or an actress playing a part. They're becoming an
Yeah.
imposter. We're talking about imposter syndrome. Does that work?
Yeah, like, kind of. But do you want to know what? See, after I done all the classes and where I'm at now, see if I had the opportunities that I would have got whenever I was in my early 20s with all the skill set, the knowledge, the confidence, it would have been completely different, But everything is in timing. But it does take time, to build up that confidence,
Well,
you
for
know.
anybody who is watching and doesn't know maybe what imposter syndrome is, I'm sure you can kind of guess from the name. But I'm going to read out the Oxford Dictionary definition first and then
Okay.
make it simpler. So, Oxford Dictionary says the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. So, basically, you feel undeserving of your achievements. You feel like a fraud, that everything you've achieved was luck. You're second guessing yourself a lot of the time. And in most cases, the imposter syndrome kind of relates to people and their work. I mean, you can get it on a personal level, but it seems to be more whenever you set yourself tasks, and a lot of the tasks that you set yourself. Well, I'm guessing with parents, we're not parents, so we don't know, but I'm guessing you'll get that. You could get that a lot for some parents, but that's basically the definition of imposter syndrome. And just thought it's worth talking about because it's something that we've all probably experienced at one point in
Yeah.
our lives. And yeah, maybe we can chat
I,
about the different types, some celebrities who have had it, and maybe ourselves as well, times we've had it, and then some kind of techniques to try and cope with it when it crops
yeah.
up.
I always have it, but I always think that if you do have imposter syndrome, it means you're growing and it means you're moving forward and it means that you're pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. Do you know? Like at one point, I'd never studied to be a film producer, but I had to say I'm a film producer. I wasn't a good actor, but I had to stand up and do a monologue and tell people I was an actor. So there's times whenever I've stood up to do something and said out loud that I'm doing and haven't fully, my body and my feeling hasn't fully caught up with the words that I'm saying. And that's all it is. It's like, I just feel that if you do start to get it moving and you do start to say the things, then it comes about, you know what I mean? You just start
Right.
to say, hey, like, this is what I'm doing.
I think people will start to hear this term or feel it a lot more now because back in the day before, the mobile phones, you weren't really comparing yourself to, anybody else other than the people within your local vicinity or who appeared on the news. And when they appeared on the news, the chances are you weren't relating to them anyway because they were doing something completely different. Whereas now when you've got your phone in your hand and you're able to look, that sector, that industry, that task, people who are performing really well at doing that, then you start to compare yourself to lots of different people. And then that can feel overwhelming, or you could feel like, shit, I'm not as good as that. So what's the point of me doing
Yeah.
it? Or why am I doing this? Because look how much experience that person has. Like, we never had that before. You probably were the best person to do it in that whole street region that you were in, and now unfortunately we don't just compare ourselves to that, we compare ourselves to every single person out there doing it.
I find with imposter syndrome though, for me, it's like I'm the biggest critic to myself.
Yeah.
Like it's like I you know what I mean? Like I'm the one who doesn't believe that I can do it. I was having a conversation with one of our guys who works for us the other day, and he was saying, "How's it going in LA? Is there much competition?" Like, because he's saying, I had like a few meetings with Bankhouse and been like a few things happening, and he said, "What's it like? Is there much competition?" And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't even know what the competition is in Dublin, or London, or Belfast, or anywhere. Like I do not know. I only focus on, have I got the ability to do this myself, and then move forward in that way. And it's like, the people that do sort of sometimes ask me that question, them looking and over analyzing and building up a perception of in their head of what a competitor is, probably holds them back from having the business that they want. Because I would say the guy that works for us maybe wants to have his own business. Do you know what I mean? But maybe having like where you feel that there's other people out there better than you at it, which isn't essentially true. You've made that up in your head.
Well, that's what it's all about. It's all about kind of the negative self-talk that you've put in your own head, because you're like, obviously comparing yourself to somebody is just one element of it, but then making yourself feel like you're just a fraudster in doing what you're doing, because what?
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you, I'll read it out so I don't get it wrong. So apparently there's 5 types of like imposter syndrome. So there's one called, and then you can tell me if you experienced or what you would categorize yourself in when you experience it. There's the perfectionist. So unless you were perfect, you could have done better. There's the expert, because there's more to learn. You don't feel like an expert. The natural genius. You feel like a fraud because you don't believe you are naturally intelligent. So you haven't done much to get it. The solist, since you can't get there on your own, you question your abilities. And then finally, the super person. You believe you must be the hardest worker or reach the highest levels of achievement. And if you don't, you're a fraud. So perfectionist, expert, natural genius, solist, super person. For me, anytime I've experienced it, I will probably fall under the perfectionist, because if it's not perfect, then I'm like, could have done better. That's not right. And then also potentially the expert one, because there's always more to learn, And then
probably
whenever
the expert
you don't,
one.
Yeah.
Well, I done a masterclass actually in the Mindset and Marketing Academy on this topic. I forgot about that actually. But in that masterclass, it has a workbook as well. But I done my whole theory behind it. Whenever I'd done research of what I had thought, how I got through it, I was like, okay, how did I deal with imposter syndrome? And one of the things that I done was, whenever it ended up coming around that I classified myself as an imposter, I loaded myself with knowledge around everything that I could around that topic. Like everything. Do you know, I would have had like if it was around, Facebook ads, I wanted to be able to set one up myself, do a Google ad or Facebook ad campaign and make money from it. And I'd done that with feature film school, made like 17.5 grand after spending €300, following a YouTube video, building the sales page on ClickFunnels back in the day and doing that. So I was like, okay, well, if I can do this, then flipping, anybody can. And, so then I had an understanding of it. And I was like that about film. Not with film, but with production. I was very much like, okay, well, what needs to be done?
Yeah.
I went into very much like, okay, here's a tick list of everything that needs to be done. Here you go. Let's go. Let's do this. So I want to know every single thing about it. If you're presenting yourself as the best hairstylist, be the best hairstylist. Work really, really hard and become the best hairstylist that you can possibly be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you'll still, if you kind of have that self-doubt, you're still going to think you're not the best, Then
work harder and be better. Like have do more knowledge. Like a lot of people actually need to have validate themselves by doing courses, by having, like, I think at one point Ireland was voted the most over-educated country in Europe. And it was because I had friends that had master degrees and they were going back to get another one. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you
20
getting another
degrees later.
master's degree? What is going on?
Still no
Like,
job.
I still working like in a job that is I classify as like prison. Might as well be in prison, you know, because they
Yeah.
had to be there like coordinate every morning, like have their lunch. I met him for lunch one day, and he's like, "Oh, we have to meet here," and I end up driving to like. I was like, "Do you really work out here? Is this like an industrial estate in the outskirts of Dublin? Like this place is like fucking hell, you know." So, but anyway,
Sign me up
that's.
for another one.
I'm like, oh my god, no wonder
But
you want to go back to school, do masters, because this is like a nightmare. But so I left school at 15 and constantly lived in this phase from such a young age of being a complete and utter imposter.
it'd be interesting to know, I don't know this, but it'd be interesting to know, you know, like in terms of people who did, you know, go down the university route versus people who went straight into employment and worked their way up the ladder. Like what way, I would say that people who went into the university route, and I'm basing this on absolutely nothing, but they might actually come across this more because they're in a class full of people, right, that they're constantly comparing their grades to and constantly comparing their work to. Then whenever they get to the end of that, they're then having to apply for jobs and roles, and again, like anything else, put back into the market, compared against all the other people out there, what scores they got, what experience they have. It just feels like it's a constant competition, you know. Whereas maybe when I was like you, I as soon as I left school, I got a job and just started working my way up because I just wanted money to go out and have the crack at the time.
Yeah.
And then obviously I worked hard in every job that it was in, and I just kept working my way up and up and up. But through doing that, you know, I got the knowledge to move up to the next level. I got the training to move up to the next level. I got the confidence and the know-how to keep going. So I didn't really find myself in a situation where I felt like an imposter because I'd worked my way up to being there, you know, because
Yeah.
that was all of that other stuff that come with it. Like the times I would probably find that I would experience it would be if I am doing something that's brand new, or if I'm talking to somebody that has like a super ego, you know, one of those people that are just real in your face, overconfident. Like that pushes me back a bit, and then maybe I might start to doubt myself because of the way that they're talking to me, because I just would never, you know, in just real disrespectful, arrogant ways. And then because I'm not really used to having to listen to that anymore. So
I know,
whenever
and see,
I'm in that
whenever
situation,
clients
I'm like,
whenever clients do come across like that in Bankhouse, I get rid of them. Like, and I'm really
Yeah.
sorry to say that, and if any of you are listening, I'm really sorry, but like I do break it down. You can't speak to people like that anymore. People just do
Yeah.
not put up with it, and people go through every single day speaking like that. They're like reading back through some of the emails that you have been sent that would not send them to me. They
Yeah.
apologize to me, and they send them to
Yeah.
you, which I think is hilarious. I'm like, mate, you apologized to me and sent Sharon, who actually done all the work, a bloody death threat, practically. Like, it's not happening. I don't care. So it's not going to happen
You got me
here.
back.
That's not how. I'm not going to be dealing with that. But I will say this, Sharon, you ask a lot of questions. It does my head in sometimes, but I understand why you're doing it.
I've
But
got
it's
more
like if
questions
someone-
after this.
If someone comes to like with a query into Bankhouse and Sharon doesn't know, and she does feel like I can't talk on this because I don't know, she'll then say to me, hey, I've got a question, which then ends up being in like 45 minutes of me breaking down every single element of it, which actually is great because it makes me, then I'm like, okay, actually, we need to charge more for this. Do you know, because sometimes I forget like how much we have to be doing, you know, which I think is great. And that's kind of like, just jumping in on the university ones, you know, I interview a lot, obviously. And I think there's like a lot of like entitlement coming from university graduates. And they're like, no, the entry salary is X. And I'm like, you're going to struggle to get that with no experience. You know, if
Yeah.
there was a job and they're like, you know, 35,000 or 42,000 is their entry salary. And I'm like, what planet are you living on? Like, that's not happening with no experience. just because a teacher has told you that this is what you're worth and this is what you should be doing. You need to go and really, and like in most instances with people, like they have to, I advise them to like, I'm not employing them, but after that, could you give me any feedback? I'm like, take a pay cut and go and get experience. Even if it's only for 1 year. Even if it's only for 1 year, and work your way into the salary that you desire, because you will be able to do it, because you've got all the technical skills now. Now you just need to put on the experience. I
do actually feel bad, and you know, for the people that choose the university route, because, well, like obviously you've got some courses that come with capturing and getting experience. So for example, my sister's a nurse, a nursing degree, you get work experience. It's hands-on as well when you're doing that degree. And teachers as well. My brother's a teacher, so the same applies. So you're getting that. But like for other ones where you're not getting that same experience as well, like, you know, you're out there in that market trying to get the degree so that you can get offered that job, but you don't have the experience because you've been working on the degree. You know, you're getting one or the other.
And then you're being fed by the teachers saying, no, your entry salary should be 37,500 euros. Yeah. Where I know if I spent like an extra 4,000, I'm getting someone with maybe loads of experience and with the opportunity to work and grow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or if you spend an extra 10,000 on top of that, what the entry salary should be, you're getting someone who can bring their salary back in, make their salary back within your company in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
Because of the experience and the knowledge they have. The way I look at whenever I'm employing, and like whenever I look at the payroll, I'm like, okay, well, here's how much everybody's getting paid, how much money are they all making back. And that's really the way that I've always just worked it, in a very logical way. Okay, here's the money that's going out, how much money's coming in from that. Where whenever you're moving into like a big organization, you know, like Google or Facebook or Yahoo or Airbnb or big, like if you're working on them, it's not as, it's easier to sort of slip in on a good graduate salary. But oftentimes you will get put into like a really small area within that business. Where working with us, okay, the salaries maybe start a bit lower and then work up, but you do get experience in like a vast amount of areas, you know?
It's funny because I've only ever worked in small to medium-sized businesses. I've worked, like obviously with Bankhouse, we have clients that range from small, medium to large. But I mean, myself, I've only worked in a small or medium company, and I don't think I'd ever want that to change, because I just think you get to learn so much more. Because you kind of have to be able to do a few things. It's not okay that you can just do that one job that you're there to do. And I like that, because I think that's why then you get more skills and you're able to then... And I think also everyone kind of has to, like, it's more team orientated, you know, because there might not be as many people. You kind of have to work quite closely together to make sure that you get it done. And you're not just a number then. Like, sorry, I worked in a call center once, as one of my first ever jobs. So a large company, and it was horrible. I learned so much, but you were literally a number. You know, at the end of the day, nobody really knew your name apart from like the couple of people in your team, and it was all just you had to actually press. If you wanted to go to the toilet, you had to press a button on your screen that said you were going to the toilet, and then go to the toilet, come back, press that button again, and then at the end of the month you get a percentage of time that you've taken to go to the toilet. I mean,
oh my god, could you imagine? Could you imagine that?
That's probably why now I am such a stickler, to be fair, with time keeping and all of that. But that's probably good. But the thing is, I've worked in many different companies. Like, I know the exact company that I want to own, and I've got it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's the exact company that I want to own. We have had offers to buy us before, acquire us, and move us into like a much bigger company, which would be like just going. I would have to stay and work there, which I don't want to do. You would have to go as a part of the package, which I know that you would never do. And, you know, so that's never really going to work out for us. Well, it won't work out for us at this point unless it offers loads of money, and then we'll talk about it then. We'll do what we have to. I'll be like, Sean, you have to take this one the chin for a year. But here's what you're getting at the end of it, you know. And and at some point we might, you know. But I'll be pressing that button again to go to the toilet, like cursing you for a year.
Oh my god. I know. You'll end up going back and you'll be like, this is cool in here. I like it. All these people. You'll end up loving it. You'll be like, what have I been doing? But anyway, it's but whenever I did look at that, I couldn't believe how other companies like ours are currently running. You know, in the UK. This was a UK based company, and I was like, oh my God, they're really taking the fun out of like the website and the marketing and the actual. Do you know what I mean? It was just the only people that were. Everybody was just so stressed, and everybody seemed to just push the job to the next person.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not what I would want to work at. Yeah.
No, me neither. I'm sorry about that. We actually digressed a bit. I don't know how, but we just did.
Well, I tell you about imposter syndrome. You know, I never thought that I would be in a position where I would own a digital media agency, never mind someone want to acquire it for multiple 7 figures. So it's like the fact that is even a possibility is insane. You know, I was a refrigeration engineer, as I bring up a lot, lying on the ground, fixing water leaks, having to use wet vacs and sucking out drains. Like, to think that was my life, driving around in a van, to now being in a position. And it was just because I stepped outside my comfort zone. I kept pushing forward. I kept saying, I am a film producer. And if people don't, I had to prove it to them. I was the one that had to prove it. So I had to work really hard and get my first movie into distribution, Amazon Prime, cinemas, RTE, awards. So I was one of those people that just always had to prove it, you know. And that's what I continue to do. And I think one of the reasons why I would love to, you know, sell the brand at some point, maybe, is probably for that other bit of like, what is that word? I hate using it, but it's like it is true. Validation. We're all seeking validation. Do you know, we're all seeking it, and you have to become an imposter to get it. You know, in my opinion.
I think though what you said earlier, and even how you explained how you kept saying, I am a film producer, a lot of it has to do with, you know, that negative self-talk, you know, that because really, okay, you're going to have some people out there who might say, you're no good, why are you doing that? And the chances are that's just because either they've had a bad experience with you, or they're just a bit jealous or insecure of what you're achieving. Mostly, and that you can choose to accept that or not, but the imposter syndrome side of it is really about what you think and what you feel about yourself and how you see yourself in the world. So like whenever you were like negative self-talk there, you could have been like, oh,
I'm not good enough.
And then, I'm not good enough to do film.
This isn't going to get finished.
I have no experience. I don't even know where to begin, you know. But whereas you turned that all around into like positive self-talk, you know, after you were probably visualizing there more, but you know, for somebody who is maybe struggling with something that they're doing and or they're going to try and reach for, and they feel like they don't have the experience or knowledge or whatever to do that, you know, stop that self-talk straight away where you're saying, I don't know, I can't, I shouldn't, you know. Stop and actually just write down, you know, or think about the things that you have achieved and that you have done, you know, because whenever you look back at all of those things that you have done and you have achieved, then you can look at, right, okay, now I'm looking at this new opportunity. Let me think the worst case scenario about this new opportunity. So I am going to apply for this funding opportunity. There's loads of people going out for it. There's no way I'm going to get it. Well, what's the worst case scenario about, so I'm not going to do it. What's the worst case scenario about that funding opportunity is that you don't get it, right? But in terms of, is there any other worst case scenario? So if you were writing down your worst case scenario, they're going to find out I lied about my experience. Well, then that's justifiable, because then that is fraud. Whereas the chances are you're not going to be saying things like that, because you're going to be saying, I have the experience, I have the case studies, I can do this work, I do deserve this fund, whatever. So all you have to do is kind of think about the worst case scenarios, write down what they all are, and then beside each one, say which one is true. Like what actual worst case, is that a true worst case scenario? Can that actually happen? And what are the negative impacts? And what, is that a false, you know, worst case scenario? Because it can't happen because it's not true. And just work it all out that way, because come by the end of it, you'll have seen that really you are in the position to apply for that and you do deserve it. And while you might not get it, you're in the right place and you should go for it, you know? And then you're kind of removing those doubts that you have about yourself. And another thing is as well, sometimes it's good to, like, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or feeling like, you know, maybe lack of confidence around what you're doing or about to jump into, another thing that you can do is kind of, if you have people that you trust, you know, like somebody maybe aligned with that kind of work or in that kind of experience, or you're a family member that you can trust to ask questions, you know, speak to them about it too, because, you know, I know it's a wee bit of a vulnerable situation to be in whenever you're asking somebody, you know, what do you think? Am I making this all up? Like, would you trust me to do that? You know,
I would find like one person you trust. I wouldn't just be asking randomers, because
well,
the thing is,
send a quiz out.
yeah, even though that is what some companies do, but you know, all you need is one person to believe in you, right? I was watching this thing the other day. I went down this rabbit hole of this comedian. Now, he ended up saying something really controversial, and I haven't actually watched it yet, the controversial thing, but I've watched all the other stuff around it, and I actually like some of his humor. I think it's really, really funny. I think he's really funny. And he's been living out in LA for years, since he was like 16 or something. I think he left school, but he's called Matt Rife. And I just started following him the other day. Now I need to go back and look at the controversial thing that he done. I heard what he done after it, and anyway, I don't condone what he said. Don't agree with it. Just saying that. I haven't even listened to it, but it's a good chance that I don't. But he was going through where he actually nearly stopped, because he constantly had to like go and keep pushing forward, and he's like, I'm just not for this. And even though he had some success with like a TV show, people think when you're on TV you're a millionaire. You're not. It's like you get like a fee for that show and then you move on, you know. And it's one of those things. TV's brilliant to go on to because it's a real authority piece, because people think that they think you're really important, but actually it doesn't do great for your business. You have to have a business that generates revenue. But he was saying that the year before last he filed taxes, I think, of 40 to 60,000 in and around. Last year he done 25 million. You know, and everybody's like, oh my God, this guy's an overnight success. But he's like, no, I had 11 years of having to push through. And this is like a lot of people where just they actually go off stage and they think, oh my God, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. But they have to get the confidence to come back the next morning and be like, and he said he nearly gave up. He said, right, that's it. I'm doing this for 10 years now. I've given it 10 years. I'm going to go and get a job. You know, I'm going to go get a job.
Yeah.
Because he thought he wasn't good enough. He thought it was never going to happen for him. And he pushed through, and he's now, like, albeit that little controversy blip, which I don't know fully about, but he's actually really funny, and he's going to do way more than 25 million, you know, in his coming years. But but if he had believed that self-talk, he would never have got there.
Well, you know? That's the thing. That's why it's so important to kind of recognize that term, you know, imposter syndrome, and kind of try and identify when or if you're ever feeling that, because the main reason for understanding whether or not you're going through that is because if you're going through that and you're not acknowledging it and you're not addressing it, well then the chances are that you're missing opportunities, like 100% experiences you're missing. It's related to anxiety and depression too, which makes sense.
If I had to stay doing refrigeration, imagine if I had to listen to myself that I wasn't good enough, because at one point I did say that. I knew I wanted a different life. Yeah. I knew it was out there, but I was thinking, oh my God, I'm not good enough to do that. Yeah.
And like, it's not just, I think it said, I read somewhere that it was like 70% of all of us will experience it at one point, at least in our lives. And actually, I was doing a wee bit of research and could, like, even, you know, people you mentioned, you know, TV, celebrities who are super successful in their fields. And I don't just mean successful because they're on TV. I mean successful because, you know, they've got a business plan, they're nailing what it is that they do, they're earning lots of money from it. Like, success is so broad, but in terms of that sense, you know, for example, I looked up a few: Michelle Obama, Tom Hanks, David Bowie. This girl, do you know this girl from Shark Tank? I think it's an American thing. Barbara Cochran.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's funny. Actually.
So she stole her she sold her real estate business for 66 million, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, she still wonders, was it a fluke?
But she was told, like my mom says to me all the time, make sure you're saving now, make sure you're putting money away, make sure you're investing in things. She said that like she was always told to save, and she was like, I don't want to save. I'm just going to work so hard and, constantly, because I'm always
Enjoy it.
focusing on, the people that are focusing on saving, put all that energy into learning how to make more money. Do you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
what to do. It's not about spending, it's about learning how to make more money. Yeah, of course, enjoy it. Of course, have savings, but it's not by it's by knowing how to make it. And that's one thing that I really related with her whenever I saw her saying that. I was like, do you want to know what? Because there's times like I have reinvested every single penny that I had back into the business, every single penny, and not took a wage. But I done that because I knew what the potential was. I believed in it. I believed in myself, because I think that I've actually been dealing with imposter syndrome and visualization and affirmations way before that was even like a thing for me anyway, or even knew about it. Whenever I was a teenager, having to go up to someone's house and say, hey, I've got a car, can I wash your car? And I'm only 13, like, so all those things. So it's like, it's just, you gotta really, really believe in yourself.
Like,
you gotta believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, then you gotta learn more about the topic that you're selling people. Like, learn more, become an expert, become the expert, work really hard, watch YouTube videos, do online courses, learn.
But also know that you don't have to be the best at that in the whole entire world to be deemed a non-imposter. That's not true. The truth of it is that, can you deliver on what you're saying that you will deliver on? Can you do what it is that you want to do? And, that's why you got to think about what it is that you're actually saying to yourself, and is it valid or is it not? And also, some people can get caught up on, like, maybe I think another thing is, it's really important to celebrate your small wins as well. Don't just think of like the end goal, because say your end goal is to be the world's best fitness coach, whatever, right? Brilliant, good, that's a goal. So does that then mean, because you're not that right now, then you start to have this self-doubt about, well, I'm never going to get there because I'm not that now, and such is that, and look at what they're doing, and look how they're doing it, and I could never do that. You start to end up in this freaking rabbit hole of negative self-talk, because you're, again, back to kind of comparing yourself to whoever is maybe doing something right now that you're not. But then what you should do, or try to do, is then break it down. Well, okay, there's the end goal. Here's all the things that I want to achieve in order to get to that end goal. And then, you're not saying right now you're the world's best. You're saying, I am the best at doing this for the people that I speak to and meet, because that's true. And then kind of work on your next goal to get up to that level where then potentially you are the world's best, whatever. And the thing is, like you said, Matthew, you could be the world's best fitness coach to that particular person. So it's all relevant, So I think even like just reflecting on and celebrating the achievements, even the small ones, no matter how small, because that's positive self-talk. I really helped that person today lose this body fat, and now they're able to move better, sleep better, whatever. Like, how amazing is that?
Yeah, and like 2014, it was this time like 10 years ago, this time actually, I just came back from LA from my first trip, and I knew I wanted to be a film producer. I was like, that's it. I'd already been doing internship for a company, and I was on unemployment, like picking up 188 euros per week. And I was thinking, how am I going to start my own company? Because I can't give up this 188 euros, right? Because I needed it. I had no other money. I had to pay my rent, everything out of that money. And I was like, I'm trapped. I'm trapped in this cycle of like here, because if I leave this, then I have to move out of Dublin. If I move out of Dublin, then I'm missing the opportunities. So this organisation, Inner City Enterprise, who I'm now a board member of, ended up helping me keep my unemployment payment for 2 years and legally start a business, right?
Yeah.
But I had to go through this form and fill out these things. So whenever I met with Shane from the Inner City Enterprise, and he said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to have like movies. I want to live in LA. I want to do movies around the world. I want to work with A-list Hollywood actors. And he's like, okay, Matthew, like I'm putting this application form into the social welfare. Can we pull it back a bit, you know? And he said like, and back then, and the contract that I'm going to be signing, and I said to him at the time, I want to have a Netflix deal. I want to do this, is a project for Netflix.
Yeah.
Like it took me 10 years to hit really the top peak that I said. I have done documentary, I have worked with really big people, but to get to what I said to him in that moment is like, I believed it at that point because I was doing this work on imposter syndrome even back then because I had to, you know, because I hadn't been out. I was like, you have to believe in yourself, you have to believe in yourself. So I end up now, I'm about to do one of the biggest deals I've ever done, and it is exactly what I'd said 10 years ago, which is...
It sounds though like you didn't have imposter syndrome though, because you were just going, I can't do this, I am that.
I had it from when I was like
this
15.
is me.
I couldn't read. Like I literally had to say to people,
No.
like I believed in myself so much. I did have imposter syndrome, but I had to you have to believe in yourself, and you actually have to believe in yourself, and you have to be able to say it out loud. At that time, did I think it was possible that I was going to be working with a Hollywood actor? Yeah, I did.
No, but that's what I mean. So then, so you're going reverse.
I'm the imposter one that actually educates themselves and becomes like proves to themselves that it is possible. And then after that, I went out and I done South, the first movie of independent feature film, you know.
No,
and then I
don't think the imposter syndrome's anything about positive. Like you can, you will, you can, you know. I think it's more about the negative. Is it not?
That's what people think it is. That's why I said in my masterclass that I just remembered while we were doing this is like you have to educate yourself on the topic that you want to go into, know every single thing about it, and then tell people, I'm the best at this. That's how you deal with imposter syndrome. So if you're an imposter around
you're talking
fitness,
about how to deal with it.
Yeah, like that's.
Sorry, I thought you were
had
trying
no
to say,
education in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought
I'd
you were
no
trying
education
to say,
in film. Yeah, I'd no education in film. Like I've been an imposter in every single thing that I done. Doing a podcast, like who's to say that I should be doing a podcast? Do you know what I mean? It's like you're an imposter in every single thing. But I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do? I need cameras, lights, conversation. Okay, I need a co-host, and I've tried different versions of it. You know.
So basically, your way of overcoming imposter syndrome is to become the imposter.
To become the person that you say you are. If you don't, you're never going to make it. You're never going to make it if you don't become that person. Because if you're selling somebody on a person or a project or a service and you're not prepared to literally do everything in your power to become that person, even all the self-talk, if you're constantly focusing on, I can't deliver on this, you are not going to deliver on it. I didn't go to school for any of the jobs that I'm doing right now. I left school at 16. I started work at 15. I can't read. I'm dyslexic. You know, I don't have any technical skills, but I own a digital media agency. I've had to literally go out and sell that as a service. You know, so that's how you do it. You become an expert in it. You become obsessed. And then you are that person, and no one can say anything, because if anybody was to question me, you're not a film producer. I'm like, okay, no, that you're entitled to your opinion. That's totally fine.
Here's a film I produced.
But here's movies and awards and things that we've done, you know. So people have said that to me before in the past, actually. One person in particular I was working with was really, really frustrated that I was on the project.
Go.
No. Do you want to know what? Actually, do you know, I wouldn't. I would never actually, because do you want to know what? I feel more sorry for him because his issues are all with himself and they're not with me, you know?
Yeah.
And I learned that along the way as well. It took me a while to get up to that one, but he didn't have a problem with me. He had a problem with himself. And he didn't have the confidence to say that he was going to do the stuff. So he spent the time putting me down. He's still in the same position, I believe, you know, and I hope he does get out of it, and because I do think he's got a lot of skills and a lot of talent, you know. It took me years to actually get to that point where I could actually say that.
Every day we're learning
and mean
growing.
it, and mean it actually, and mean it.
Oh, he said it loads, but he actually just meant it for the first time.
I didn't believe I was a film producer at one point as well. I was like, shit, am I a film producer? Holy God, okay. I am. And then the more I got into it, I was like, this is actually my calling.
Yeah.
I love this.
That's the thing, you know, it's all about, obviously, well, the stats say 70% of people are experiencing this at some point, and the only thing it's going to do is hold you back, you know. So if you're experiencing that now, don't let it hold you back from growing, experiencing something new, or just a new opportunity that might be out there for you. So try and pick up on those warning signs of, you know, are you negatively talking to yourself about something and is it true or is it not true? And then maybe reflect and celebrate these small wins. And as Matthew said, make sure that you educate yourself and that you are, you know, keep growing and keep training and keep developing so that, you know, those feelings also kind of fade away. But I think, the main thing is we don't want anyone to be held back by imposter syndrome when a lot of the times it is just you talking to yourself negatively.
Oh yeah, like I totally agree with all that, and just become the best at it. Like I can remember whenever I done that imposter syndrome workshop, I was living in Wiltshire, La Brea, and it took me ages. Workshops I can usually fly through them, but then whenever I done that, I was like, this is crap. What did I do? I was like, what did I do at that time? And then I remembered I just, you know, done that, just research and educate yourself. And I think that's why people go and get degrees and masters, because then they're validating themselves where they don't feel like an imposter, where they can say to someone, well, I've got a master's in this, so I know.
Yeah.
You know, which is fair enough. If that's what they need to do, that's what they need to do. You do whatever you need to do. You do whatever you need to do. Mine is like get experience and just become obsessed with it, because
and I just wanted to add one more I just wanted to add one more there is also like, you know I briefly said speak to somebody, but you know, get support to help kind of you, because that's another way of validating it. You know, if you've got support from somebody or they're helping you or whatever. I'm just thinking of, you know, if somebody out there is, maybe they've got experience, right, in whatever it is, and they're thinking, oh, I'd love to start a business in this, and they're like, oh, I couldn't. You know, the chances are you probably could, but you maybe need a bit of support with a business mentor, or you need some facilities to aid that business, like an online website or shop or whatever it might be. So you don't have to know every single thing to be able to get to that dream job of owning your own business. You know, you have the experience there, and like everything in the whole entire world, that then needs a bit of support from other people with experience. So don't let that hold you back and thinking that you're not good enough or you can't. That's not imposter syndrome. That's, you know, you needing help, because we all do.
Yeah, if anybody's got this far in the podcast and you're listening, send us a message and I'll give you access to the imposter syndrome masterclass.
Yeah.
There's like 6 masterclasses, but I'll give you just access to that one if you want, for being a listener. Just say thanks if you've got imposter syndrome, because it is something that holds so many people back, and just nobody cares what nobody's thinking about you. It's only in your head. It's not anybody else, and that's it. And if somebody speaks negatively about you, it's more about them than you. It took me years to figure that out, but it's true. It's more about them than you. They're talking more about themselves than they are about you. So just stay focused, know what you want, move forward, and that's it.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, that's it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Anybody who wants to have the Imposter Syndrome Masterclass, please feel free to give us a shout, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye. I'm going to eat some pizza.
Bye. I'm getting my day started. I'm going to go to the gym.